Contest number 2 live here from the Victoria Warehouse. 4 3-minute rounds of boxing in the Cruiserweight division. Introducing to you firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black colour shorts trimmed with gold. At the weight scale, 14 stone, 12 ounces. Presenting from Derby, here is Elvis Dube. And opposing him, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the black colour shorts trimmed with silver. At the weight scale, 14 stone, 4 pounds, 8 ounces. From 2 contests, he has 2 wins. Presenting the undefeated young man from Glendunnock, Wales, here is McKay. Time, keep the bell. Chris O'Connor, star referee, in charge of the action. The always excellent Mr. Steve Gray from Fleetwood. 4 3-minute rounds.
Okay, boys, have a cold break, take a step back. Don't throw punches around the back of the head. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up. Good luck, lads.
Here we go then, second contest of the evening. And we talk about it a lot, but when you're in with someone like Elvis Dube, it's about hitting them early on and making sure that they know they can't get the win tonight.
Yeah, it's similar to a football game when they tell you to put in a tough tackle early on in the game just to set the scene. And the thing with McKay is he had his pro debut in March of last year, then didn't fight again until November. Now he's fighting again now, so he's had a bit of a start to his career so far, so I imagine he'll be looking to get busy this year.
Yeah, and hopefully he gets the job done tonight and then he can stay busy, like you said. It's so important for these prospects coming through. They get as many fights in as they can early on, especially when they're over 4 and 6 rounds. Yeah,
and he's 31, so time is not going to be on his side. He needs to squeeze in as much as he can over the course of the next year or 2.
Nice right hand landed as you're talking. And he's settled into this one really nicely already. And you can see the height difference in there. Always the case when Elvis is in there.
Yeah, he just tries to work his way inside, doesn't he, Elvis? And as you say, when he does land a clean shot, he has got a dig as well.
Yeah, and that jab's so important against someone like Elvis. And McKay starts firing it out nicely early on in this one.
And it's been a while since Elvis got his last stoppage fight. He got a stoppage in July 2014 against Remel Scott, who was undefeated at the time. Floored him 3 times in the 3rd round and got a technical knockout win. So it's been a while for Elvis, so he might actually be due a big shot and a stoppage win.
Yeah, and you never know when these guys are going to turn up and cause an upset. You know, Elvis has done it before, time and time again.
The challenge for Elvis, I think, tonight is, as we can see, he's going to find it very difficult to get on the inside.
Yeah, and already you can see McKay's strong on the inside as well. Every time Elvis does close the distance, just uses those forearms, push him away and get back behind that jab.
Yeah, sometimes the advantage for the shorter fighters can be the taller guy might not have any inside skills or might be weak inside, but we've not seen any sign of that so far from McKay.
Yeah, and he set quite a quick pace in this opening round as well. He's throwing a lot of shots early on, and you can afford to do that over 4 rounds as well. Now, these guys train to go the longer distances.
And Elvis looks a bit troubled by some of the shots he's taken. I've seen Elvis fight a few times and he always looks very calm and very stoical, but a couple of times he's felt the shots tonight, I think, already.
Yeah, and fighters like Elvis always like to have a breather, don't they, when they're in there, buy themselves a few seconds by holding or moving, but McKay's done really well not to allow him to have any breathers so far in this opening round.
Yeah, and he landed a few minutes ago, good refers 1-2 as well, so the signs are promising early for the McKay.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Elvis just buying himself a few seconds. Comes towards the end of this first round. It's been a good first round behind that jab from McKay.
Yeah, and he looks like he's feeling it, Elvis. Just looking him in the eye now, and another reverse 1-2, a right hand followed by a left.
Good opening round that for McKay. It's always difficult when you're in with an opponent like Elvis, but he did a good job dealing with any of the threats that he brings to the ring.
I think it's most uncomfortable I've seen Elvis looking for quite a while now.
Yeah, and he's just got to keep that pace up now, hasn't he? And it might be one of them. We'll get to the end of this 4th round and we'll say if this was scheduled longer, we could be looking at the stoppage. You know, Elvis knows the way to fiddle through some of the rounds.
Yeah, Elvis took a few more punches than we've seen before in the past in that round. McKay's standing between rounds as well. He's so big, it'd be more effort for him to wall himself off his seat than it is to stand up between rounds. But as you say, the age of 31, he wants to really crack on in the next year or two.
Stools always look tiny when the big guys are stood next to them as well. It's a long way down.
Yeah,
Round 2.
Tonight the stools look unusually small, like something from Ansel and Gretel. But like we said, we've got a couple of big units in there tonight, and that's probably why. I'm probably going to be sitting here all night like Father Dougal Maguire trying to figure out if they're very small or far away.
Back to the boxing. He's kept that pace up in the second round, like we said he needed to do.
Yeah, and he's moving well, McKay, for a big guy.
Yeah, been decent defensively as well. Not taken many of those looping shots that Elvis likes to throw. Nice little uppercut on the inside. You can see there's a lot of spite in that right hand that McKay's throwing.
Yeah, he's dug it in a couple of times. His jab has been, he's just been putting out to set up the right hand, so I'd like to see a bit more authority on his jab, particularly against someone like Elvis.
Yeah, and already he's shown massive improvements from his last two. He looks a lot more technically sound in there tonight, behind that jab. Just got a little bit ragged now and again in his first two fights. So far, he's looked very composed, picking his shots nicely. And you can see Elvis is uncomfortable in there because he's constantly trying to close that distance, isn't he?
Yeah, he's trying to get inside where he feels it might be safe, but on the couple of times he's got inside, he's been outmanoeuvred on the inside as well, which will be really uncomfortable and a bit of a surprise for him, maybe.
Yeah, and surprisingly, McKay's picked the body shots really well early on, and that's not something we usually say when Elvis boxes. He's usually quite good at blocking with his hands, and his arms, deflecting shots, but he's taking a lot in there at the moment.
Yeah, he took a good right hand to the head there, Elvis.
And McKay's not forcing the work either in there. He's picking his shots nicely still, even with that high work rate. Nice jab again, just flicking it out with the left hand.
Yeah, and it's keeping Elvis off balance as well. He can't really set anything up himself. It's been a tough start to this round for him.
Just waiting to unleash that right hand straight down the middle, isn't he? And there it is, just as I was talking about it. Reverse 1-2.
Yeah, and that can take the opponent by surprise. You're expecting the jab to come with the right hand, comes with the left hand behind it. Way back when, that's what Lennox Lewis used to stop Lionel Butler in what was, up to that point, a very quiet fight, and then Lewis just threw the right hand first and put the left in and closed the shot.
Yeah, and Elvis has taken a lot of shots in the last 30 seconds. A lovely left hook to the body. Still picking his shots nicely in there.
Yeah, as you say, particularly those left and right hooks to the body have been sicking us in the last minute of this round.
Been really impressive so far, this from Mike McKay. And we said earlier, he might struggle to adapt to fighting someone that's so much shorter than him, but he's done a really good job of it so far.
Yeah, and even when Elvis just landed a little right hand to the body there towards the end of that round, McKay just came back with his own shots.
He looks pretty comfortable in that corner as well, not breathing too heavily. He's clearly happy with the pace that he's set. Don't think Elvis is too much though.
Yeah, he looks really ragged, Elvis, tonight. He looks how I feel today after a late night last night. But as you say, McKay, he's relaxed and a relaxed fighter. He's not expanding too much nervous energy. You can go in there and do your own thing.
Yep, halfway through this one, and a comfortable night's work for Mike McKay so far.
10 seconds, corners.
Yeah, I mentioned it before, he's made massive improvements, which is huge credit to him and everyone at the Rydal gym.
Round 3.
And let's just say his chief concern now will be remaining active, not having a stop-start career. He needs to go out. He looks relaxed in there tonight. He'll be absolutely, once he gets this win, presumably he'll be looking to get out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, we've got a show lined up in Liverpool on June the 8th. So I'm sure he'll be looking to get back out, that all going well, but he's still got a job to do, and Elvis has just upped his work rate in response, throw a few shots then. McKay's looked good defensively as well.
Yeah, I think Elvis was told in his corner that he needed to start contributing something to the fight. He's not getting badly beaten up, but he's getting worked over. We've seen in the first two rounds, so where maybe they've just sent him out there and told him to not give the referee something to have to think about if he does take a clean shot or becomes a bit off balance after taking the shot.
Yeah, Elvis just getting a warning there for using his head a little bit on the inside. I don't think I've ever seen Elvis box where he hasn't had a warning. Just the way he fights on the inside, holding.
Yeah, and there's nothing malicious to it. It's just, like you say, it's just a part of his style. He comes boring in, head down to try and get himself on the inside and wail away. And when that happens, sometimes head clashes can be a factor.
Yeah, and if McKay is planning on boxing on that Liverpool show, the last thing he wants is a cut in this one.
Yeah, they'll just want to get the rounds, get the win, and as you say, if he fights on the Liverpool show, then he'll already start being more active than he's been previously in his career.
Yeah, and this is a good learning round for him because Elvis has really upped the pace. A lovely right uppercut landed as Elvis walked it, and he's kept his composure well, even though he's under pressure now.
Yeah, Elvis is definitely trying to close the gap. Maybe his corner told him a little more action was needed, and that's what he's come out and tried to do.
Yeah, lovely work this from McKay again. He's just stopping any ambition that Elvis might have.
And on the inside there, Elvis looks a bit despondent. He didn't try firing in a few body shots on the inside. He just looked out into the crowd, so I think he's going to be happy to wear the belt when this round, and particularly one that's going to signal the end of the fight after the next round.
Yeah, still a minute to go, and Elvis set a really high pace at the start of this one. Wonder if he's just started to feel it a little bit in there. Most encouraging thing for McKay is he seems happy with that pace that he set early on.
Yeah, but like you say, he looks absolutely fine. He looks as fresh in this round as he did in the first round. Really good right hand there. Brings through an uppercut as well.
Yeah, and Elvis certainly felt that right hand, the one that started the exchange.
And the uppercut as well, and you can see Steve Grace having a close look at them.
Really impressed with McKay so far tonight. And like I said, there's a few cruiserweights around the Northwest and on the VIP stables that I'm sure will be matched with each other at some point. And McKay's certainly putting in a performance to put his name right up there.
And as you say, cruiserweight, if you post a couple of big wins as you move on in your career, it's a division that can open up for people.
Yeah, Nathan Corliss, Jay Fowler as well, part of the VIP stable. There's plenty of other cruiserweights dotted about the Northwest. Ahead of them, you got the likes of Jack Massey, Jordan Thompson, Sam Hyde, all cruiserweights from around here. The three of them in and around title level, and people like McKay just behind them, and you can see in a couple of years' time these guys getting matched together.
Yeah, you just let them fight. It's the same in the Godzilla film. There's no point. You're not going to make a Godzilla film and get him to just stamp on a few hands or something. You want to pitch these fighters against each other, because ultimately defeats can come at any point. You can lose to a journeyman and spoil a potentially good fight. And I think people in boxing are starting to now realise that just put people in against each other.
Yeah, and Ultimate Boxer, I know they've got a cruiserweight tournament, and there's a few big names from around the Northwest in that tournament, so that will open a few doors as well for people in the division.
And ultimately, as we say, there's no shame in losing a fight to a fellow contender. You'd rather lose to a fellow contender than go 20-0 and then maybe slip up against someone who's an unfancied opponent. So you may as well just pitch the fighters in against each other as early as possible. Oftentimes the promoters get the flack from the fans for not making the fights, but then you've got managers, trainers and a circle of people sometimes around the fight who don't want to pitch them in. I'd just say let them fight, let them go for it. And if they're good enough, they'll progress, and if they're not good enough, they won't progress, and they'll have to just find their own role in the sport. Catching up to Dube McKay, but what we've seen tonight, we've seen some promising seeds of what the fights are. It could eventually become.
Yeah, he's shown glimpses of the class that he clearly possesses.
And he looks fresh in this final round. He looks as if you didn't know this was the final round of the fight, you'd think it was the first round. So he looks really fresh and really on it.
Yeah, that reverse 1-2 working again. Been impressed with his shot selection throughout this one. Nice right hand to the body, and again with the straight shot.
Yeah, he's picked them well. He's not been rushing his work. He's not smothering his work, which sometimes fighters can do, especially if they don't fight as often as they'd like to. They get a bit too excitable. He's been really calm and composed.
Halfway through this final round, and McKay's just slowed Elvis down. He had that burst in the third round, didn't he? But McKay's just punched the life out of him. Lovely right hand to the body. I think that hurt Elvis a little bit. You know, he certainly felt some of these right hands that McKay's landed, and he's going back down to the body, so he certainly felt something. Right hand landing again.
Yeah, I think Elvis is going to be glad this isn't a 6th round. As you were saying earlier, those 2 extra rounds may have been too much for Elvis facing an opponent this big and this focused who's been really attacking his body.
Yeah, and it's been brilliant from Mike McKay. Stepped up the pace really nicely in this last round. Just asked a few more questions of Elvis. That right hand to the body's looked devastating tonight as well.
Yeah, and as you say, he's not been wasteful in terms of his punches. When he's thrown the uppercut, he's thrown it when he's in range and at a point where he's got more of a chance of landing it.
30 seconds to go this one. And McKay's looking for the stoppage here. He's putting everything into these last minute or so of the final round.
And Elvis will be glad, like we said before, to hear this final bell. He had that burst in that previous round, maybe just to let the referee know that he was still in the fight and not give the referee a reason to make a decision after he took a few big shots.
McKay's getting it ticking off for a push. We come towards the end of the 4th round, and impressive performance from Mike McKay. Impressive night's work.
Yeah, and a bit of respect between the 2 fights at the end there. I reckon that's enough of a clean sweep on the scorecards.
Yeah, and watching fighters like Elvis do week in, week out, it's amazing how tough these guys are. Took some big shots to head and body there.
Yeah, and like you say, he probably got told to come out in the 3rd round to just try and let people know he was still in the fight.
Certainly job done though for Mike McKay, and we've seen one shot out already tonight, and I think it's safe to say we're on our way to another one with that performance.
Yeah, he was utterly dominant in the performance, and as you say, it'll be nice if he can get out again in June in Liverpool.
Yeah, you never know what's around the corner for these guys, and an opportunity might just come up that he'll be able to take. But in the meantime, he's doing a great job of just ticking over. Needs to be active now, like we said before. And let's find out the official result for the
Ladies
Michael
and
Pass.
gentlemen, after 4 hard-fought rounds of cruiserweight action, star referee Steve Gray has adjudged this particular contest 40 points to 36 points for your winner. Now undefeated in 3 professional contests, Mike McKay. And a young man who took the contest on just a couple of days' notice, if not less, Elvis Dube, always there for British boxing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for Elvis.
Well, there we have it then.
Always in the building.
Just as we thought. 40-36. McKay eased into a points victory there. A good learning fight for him. Next up, here at the Victoria Warehouse, is someone that's got a lot of people talking.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.